How are you, Jim?
I'm
First
good.
of all,
How you
let me
doing,
finish
Shawn?
my mint.
Finish that mint.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, kissing scenes, I gotta like mint.
Exactly.
Like candy.
All right, we are rolling. So let's talk about your fans first of all, who I have gotten to know via Twitter,
Yes.
because they all know that I was coming to talk to you today. So
Insatiable,
they
aren't they?
sent me a slew of questions, and I'm supposed to tell you hello pretty much from everybody, because I can't remember all the names, but there are a lot. But
No, those little Dan Lowy insatiable people, I'm a little nervous.
They
got some great questions.
they're
Some smart
passionate.
people.
I call them
As they should be.
passionate.
They are. They're
Yeah.
very passionate. I think they've helped elevate sort of this storyline. Thank you.
And talk to me then about, interacting with the fans and Twitter and how you can get this direct feedback. Is that something that you haven't had in your career? I mean, obviously we haven't had Twitter, but
Right.
is it just...
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
Well, the Twitter thing is kind of new for me. Do I talk to you? I should probably talk to you about it.
Either way.
We talked about. Yeah, but the Twitter thing is kind of new for me because it's. I was having this conversation today. I'm like, I don't know if this is good for me or bad for me. It's great that I can stay connected to the people that I do know, that I follow, and also people who are passionate about the stories and the fans and everything else, and other people that I've worked with throughout my career, like Nathan Fillion's on Twitter, and it's other people like, oh my gosh, Shawn, what are you doing, man? I'm like, oh, what are you doing? Let's go do a movie. So it's great that way. But then also I do know, like in my personal life, I'm like, no, you don't need to be sitting in your living room twittering. You need to be living your life, Shawn. So that's the thing. It's kind of finding that balance. But I think overall it's a really great thing to be connected to the moment, to now.
Yeah. And now, if you had your druthers, if you were in the writer's room, if you were calling the shots, what would be this is actually, I'm not going to ask you about Chloe, I'm going to ask you about what would you change about your character? Is there one thing that you would like to see Daniel do differently, or is it something you would personally change?
If I was in a writer's room, what would I change about Daniel? Without being fired? Okay.
Just between us.
Just between me and you.
Exactly.
No, first of all, let me just say the writers have been great to me. They have kept me a little bit on edge, a little bit unpredictable, which is great. I don't know if it is part of the writing, it is part of some character choices, because you're not always sure what you're going to get. And even when I got on here, I think people were like, oh, he's going to be the good doctor. He's going to be, save the world, save the planet kind of character. And sometimes I shy away from that. I don't want to be that predictable. And I would like to kind of keep people guessing. So if I were in the writing room, I do love the passion that they give me and the wisdom, even though at times it seems as if I don't know much. I know more than you think I know.
Well, and that's something a lot of people said. They were just like, we think Daniel knows stuff and he's playing along, which of course that's maybe something we'll see later. But that is an intention of yours then.
Is there something I should know?
I don't want to be the one to tell you.
Okay, tweet me if you know something that I don't know.
Okay, that's a good directive.
Send me clues.
And you have your regular people that you kind of play a lot of scenes with, whether it's Chloe or some of those regular people. Who would you like to do more scenes with that maybe you don't get a chance to because the storylines aren't crossing at the moment?
That's interesting. Who don't I get seen? Allison Sweeney, ironically, I don't work with her other than the baby storyline that we had. And unfortunately, it was nothing but sadness. When we see each other, I'm like, I'm sorry, your baby's not going to... I mean, it was an unfortunate circumstance, which... her and Galen just stepped up to the plate, so it was phenomenal to help facilitate and be part of that story. They drove it. And who else? I don't know. Everybody. I want to play with everybody. Like, I think for me that's part of the learning experience and part of why I got into it. I want to work with talented, creative people and play off them and see what they got. And so clearly, I gel with some more than others, and you get the vibe from people. So anybody and everybody. I just want to play.
Okay. And sometimes there are some lighter scenes that get thrown in. Maybe it's just something not quite as heavy. Right now you're in kind of a heavy storyline, but
I know, right?
But as an actor though, can you kind of bounce between those two pretty easily? Like if you have something that's a little lighter, whether it's on the show or whether it's an outside project.
Sometimes I think the lighter stuff it is easier for me, like to hop in and out of in my personal life. Some of the darker stuff. I do have a tendency maybe to go there and maybe too far sometimes. It's hard to get out of that place depending on what it is exactly. But I do like to go back and forth. I mean, for me, and certainly even in my career, I prefer to do drama and comedy. So I've been fortunate doing both. So I think once stories get too heavy, I'm like, oh my God, I need to laugh. I need to smile. And if I'm sitting there joking, yucking it up over and over, I get a tendency like, okay, I need to get gritty. I need to get dirty. You know, I don't want to get into the darkness. So.
Okay. All right. And you've been in the soap business for a while, and the business is changing. We're going through a lot of stuff right now.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? Where do you think things are going to go? Are we still going to see soaps in 5-10 years in daytime?
Yes, you will still see soaps 5 years, 10 years from now, because it is a heightened sense of reality. Part of it's escapism, part of it's so true, so real, hits so close to home, with their hospital scenes and pregnancies and weddings and births, and they constantly move people, and people are fascinated by those stories. And daytime serves that. So I don't think it's going anywhere.
Okay. Okay.